Hello and welcome to TechRaven. Now, if you're a photographer or anybody who cares about image quality for that matter, then during this video, I'm going to be explaining why you don't want to be sending your photographs via WhatsApp or a certain mail application, because these programs will definitely reduce the image quality of your pictures whilst also reducing the file size considerably. And in the case of WhatsApp, yes, I'm even including that little HD button you can click on that will allegedly get you perfect image results by the time the other person receives it. Well, this is not the case, because even that HD setting in WhatsApp will make that file size come right down and make it much smaller, and even that will leave some JPEG artifacting behind. Now, I do want to stress that if it's an unimportant photograph, it could be that you've just rewired a plug, you've taken a photograph of it, and you want to send it to your electrician friend to say, hey, have I got this wiring correct? Is this correct? Is this right? Etc. etc. Then that's fine, because that image is probably just going to be discarded instantly. However, if you've just been to the Lake District and you've spent a couple of hours halfway up a fell and you've taken a beautiful panoramic landscape shot and you've got back home and you've spent an hour in post-production doing some work on it, you've exported it as a maximum quality JPEG file, biggest dimensions possible, and you want to send that to a friend so they can upload it to one of these photo services and have it printed off, then WhatsApp is definitely not the way to go. So I'm going to be showing you the correct way to send images to people if you want to have them printed off, or if they want to maybe upload them to some portfolio where you want to retain maximum quality. Now, in the case of these compression algorithms that WhatsApp uses, I'm not too sure what they are. It could be JPEG, I don't know. But even if you basically send it to somebody and they're only going to be looking at it on a small screen, you've got to remember that if they're going to pinch in and zoom in to look at some detail, they're still going to see that compression artifact. So even in those instances, you might not want to send it via WhatsApp. And I'm going to demonstrate that also. So for now, let me jump onto this computer and I'm going to show the effects that these programs have, because I've been emailing and WhatsApping back and forth with a friend of mine so that I can show you how it looks by the time it comes out the other end. Now, in the case of WhatsApp, if you send it using the standard method, it's the equivalent of putting your photograph through a mincer, because by the time the recipient gets it, the file size has been reduced massively and there's JPEG artifacts all over the place. So let me demonstrate that for you right now. Okay, so what you're viewing here is my Apple 27-inch 5K Retina display iMac. So I've got three files open here. I've got the original 6.8 megabyte. I've got the version that was sent using the WhatsApp standard profile. And here I've got the WhatsApp version that was sent using the WhatsApp HD button. Now, this original was exported from Capture One using the maximum quality JPEG setting at full size. This is how you would basically export an image if you're going to send it off to a bog standard printing company or use a high street quick turnaround on the spot printing thing. I'm not talking about high-end professional prints here. I'm just talking about standard printing stuff. Now, before I get too much into this, I'm just going to bring up WhatsApp and show you how this works. So here I've got WhatsApp open and I've got my friend here. I've hidden his details, obviously. And over here, I'm going to grab this original image in maximum quality and drag it over here onto WhatsApp to send it. Now, as you can see, if I don't do anything, it's just going to send it as the standard image. And here you've got this little HD button. So if I click on that, I can then change it to HD quality. And it says here, slower to send, can take 6 times longer. So if I click that, it now says one photo set to HD quality, and you can see the little check mark next to HD. But that is not the original image quality of 6.8 megabytes. That is still compressing it, and I'm going to demonstrate it in a minute. Now, if I click on this again, the little HD badge, it will remove that check mark and it will basically put it back to standard quality. So if I go back to these three images, I'm now going to demonstrate that. So this one here is the original. I'm just going to zoom in on this. And I'm just going to basically do the same on this. And I'm going to do the same on this. Now, if I show you this original one, if I actually zoom in a little bit more, what you're going to be looking at here is the detail in the eyelashes and the nose ring. Now, if I look at the WhatsApp version that was sent using the standard profile, you can clearly see here, if I move this over a little bit, you can clearly see that the nose ring here retains all the detail of the original, yet the one that was sent via WhatsApp, you can see the compression and the artifact in here on this nose ring. It's just totally fallen apart, and the detail in the eye, that has gone considerably also. Now, if I click on this version and bring this over here, this one here is the WhatsApp HD version. But again, you can still see that in the nose ring, there's a little bit more JPEGing going on here. And I've got some more details here that I just want to show you as well. You can see there's a hair going across here. Look at the edge of the nose ring, and you see this hair going out here on the left-hand side original image. On this one on the right, it's kind of broken up considerably. Now I'm going to zoom in quite a lot more here now just to demonstrate this. So again, on the left image, you can still see this hair, but on the right, it's totally gone. And also, if you look up here, look at these kind of vertical streaks that we've got going on in this area and this area, whereas here, those aren't really showing at all. So you can clearly see here that there has been quite a lot of JPEG artifacting, even on the HD version of WhatsApp. And you can see it here in the eye. If you look at the eyelashes, I can see the eyelash detail down this side clearer than I can on the right hand side where you've got some breakup. And again, looking down here, again, I'm zooming in quite a lot here to demonstrate this, but it's just to illustrate the point. If you look at this area, look at all the sort of blocking that we've got going on here, whereas here, there's hardly any. What you're seeing here is just the original file size. Okay, so here's another example. On the left-hand side here, I've got the original, and in the middle, the standard WhatsApp, and on the right, the HD WhatsApp. So if I just compare these two first with the original here and the WhatsApp standard here, I'm just going to try and get these to a similar sort of size. You can clearly see that the text has really started to break up and fall apart on the standard WhatsApp. And look at the edge of this circle here. The stepping on the edge is minimal on this one, whereas on this one, you've got these great big steps with JPEG artifact breakup everywhere. Now, if I come across to this one, which is the HD version on WhatsApp, and I zoom in on this and bring this up to a similar sort of size, if I go in a little bit more, you can still see here that a lot of JPEG artifacting has been introduced. Just look at the word otherwise. And if you look along the top of the E and the R and the W here, there's minimal JPEG breakup. This is basically just a photograph that was taken on my Apple iPhone. So not the best camera in the world anyway. And it wasn't RAW. So this was probably just a standard high quality JPEG image. But on this one that's been through WhatsApp, even in HD, you can see that it's introduced this breakup here. So as you can see, even the HD version of WhatsApp will introduce JPEG artifacts. Now, while I'm here, I'm just going to bring up Apple's Mail application because I mentioned earlier that Apple's Mail can do a similar thing. So if you're sending images via Apple Mail, you've got to make sure that where it says image size here, you've got to double check to make sure actual size is checked, because as you can see, it's going to keep it at 6.9 megabytes, which was the original file size. If I make it large, you can see that that drops to 220 KB. And then if I make it medium, it's going to drop to 69 KB, and it's drastically shrunk the size of the image in terms of proportions. And if I go to small, it drops it to 25. Now, I can illustrate that more if I come back to the Finder window here and show you this. What we're looking at here is the original file, and it's got the details down the right-hand side here. You can see it's 6.8 megabytes. It's got the image dimensions here, and you can see along the longest edge, it's 4,000 pixels and 6.8 megabytes. However, if we go to the WhatsApp version, if we look at the standard one, you can see here that the dimensions have dropped to 1,600 pixels and the file size has dropped to 129 KB. Now, if I go to the WhatsApp HD version, yes, it retains the dimensions of 4,000 pixels along the longest edge, but the actual image size has dropped to 638 KB. So 638 for the HD version and 129 KB for the standard version, as opposed to 6.8 megabytes. As for Apple, you can see here that the large version of the one that was sent via Apple email has reduced the image dimensions to 1280 and the file size to 212. The medium one is even smaller. Along the longest edge, we've got 640 and a file size of 62 KB. And as for the small one, well, this is just ridiculously small. Now it's only 320 pixels along the longest edge and a file size of just 19 KB. Okay, so here's my Apple iPhone, and on here I've got 3 photographs. If I just actually move this up a bit, you'll see here that I've got the original at 6.8 megabytes. I've got a small Apple one that was sent via Apple Mail, and I've got the WhatsApp standard. So if I just go back to this original one, if I actually zoom in here, you can see the detail in this eye, especially this eye here on this side, the eyelashes, and looking at the little ring in her nose. All the detail is still retained, and this looks fantastic. Now, if I go over to the WhatsApp standard and zoom in, it won't actually let me zoom in more because it's already made the image size smaller. But if I actually zoom in a bit like this, you can see that that nose ring and the detail on the eye and in the eyelashes, it is considerably reduced. And if I go to the Apple one here, well, it's made the file so small, it won't even let me zoom in on it. You can see that that is just blurred and pixelated. So again, when you're sending images just for viewing on a small screen, if the person's going to be zooming in, you want to basically still be sending them as a good quality file so that all of the information is still retained there. Okay, so there we are. I hope you enjoyed this short little video. Until the next time, bye for now.